Hello and happiness. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. We got a lot of new subscribers. Came over from Bootlosophy, and I just want to put a big shout out and a big virtual hug to Tech of Bootlosophy. He is just one of my favorite people in this world. I've never seen him in person, but I watch him, and he is so intelligent and kind and just a wonderful person to watch on YouTube. And I'm so thankful that he mentioned me with some other heavy hitters when he did his latest video on what YouTube uh, people that he watches. And so I was happy to be a part of that. Thank you, Tech. And I know that I got his Strider boot, his collaboration with Fortis boots when that came out. And my association with him inspired me to do when Fortis offered to do my own collaboration with Fortis boots from Indonesia. Those are somewhere coming across the ocean or the air or somewhere right now. And so as soon as we get the collaboration boots, the Gold Rush boots, there's two options. There's one with a veg tan and one with a natural Horween. I'm going to try them out, wear them around, review them on this channel. I know we've already sold a few pairs. I haven't officially launched them. You can order them from Fortis anytime. If you change the makeup, it may cost a little bit more. They are super affordable. So I will have a video just specifically on that coming up. What we have today is just kind of a miscellaneous boots. I'm kind of getting the end of my collection. I started this channel because of people in my Facebook group, Red Wing and Other Boots for Work and Fashion, and people on my Instagram, Happiness Carpenter, were asking me, can you just show your boots more? I do pictures. If you want to see what I'm dressed in, you can look on my Instagram, Happiness Carpenter, or join my boot group, Red Wing and Other Boots for Work and Fashion. You can see what I'm wearing, usually on the 2 weekend days, Saturday and Sunday, or I sometimes post some construction pictures from the Happiness Carpenter's actual life. You can look at all that. I'm wearing some square toe cowboy type boots today, and so that's unusual for me because I'm usually a lace up boot guy. But we're getting to the end of what I have, and so this is kind of a miscellaneous day today. I have, I think, another kind of miscellaneous or Red Wing day coming up video. And then I'm going to do, I have some vintage work boots saved, and I never thought about doing that. And I think Tech said I'm more of a work boot guy. He's more of a dress boot guy because he has an office job, and he knows about that and how to dress. And I'm not really great at dressing. My wife taught me. But I love rugged and heritage workwear. And so I will show you some of the steel toe work boots that I have. And besides that, there's a lot of boots incoming. Put a shout out to Eugenia in Argentina from Gaucho Boots. We got some boots incoming from her, and we're going to do a video just on that. They are amazing. They are made with some old army green, actual army pistol holster leather is kind of accessorized on those boots, so I'm excited about that. Like I said, we have the two versions of my collaboration, Fortis X Happiness Carpenter boots coming in. There's also some boots I'm going to do a video on William Lennon and Company from England. They're making me a pair of boots in a beautiful blue color right now, and so that may be incoming. And sometime, probably in another year or so, there are going to be some more creosote boots coming in when the Murawski green 7, only 7 pairs made, comes in. But you may have to wait a couple of years for that one because I know that Gabbard over there at Creosote is just one guy, and so he's got a long waiting list. But those are coming. So as other boots come in, I have kind of a pair that I posted yesterday online and social media. Sometimes I buy older boots and kind of rehab them a little bit, shine them up, buff them, sand them, get them going again. And so I have a pair that I did that to today. But let's get right into it. This is it is called the Kenton Pacer. Okay, it looks kind of like a Grant Stone or like an Alden or something to me. You guys know more about these. This is J. Crew and Company. They have some collaborations with Red Wing, and I have some of those. These are a real dress boot for me. They may not be dressy for you. The leather is by C.F. Stead. I believe they're out of England, the tannery, and it's not a rough out. It's a suede. Now I'm trying to figure out the difference between suede and rough out, and from what I know and what I can figure out, suede is usually a softer leather, like a thinner leather, like from deer or pig or lamb, stuff like that. Or if it's a thick leather, it's a split leather, and so it's some of the fuzziness that happens when they split the leather. It is not a rough out leather. A rough out leather is more of a thick leather that's turned inside out and the boot is made, and that's what we call a rough out or a flesh out type of leather. This is a suede by C.F. Stead. J. Crew started back in 1947. It was called something else. The first store was in Manhattan, New York City that they had. These particular boots, sorry I'm looking at my notes, these particular boots are made in El Salvador. So this, I think, as far as I know, this is the only El Salvador pair I have. I wore them to a dance here in town, kind of like a fundraiser, and I really liked them. They were really nice to wear. For me, I think I wore black jeans with them. That's dressed up for me, wearing black jeans. But I liked them. They don't get super noticed because they're so dark, and that was I'm going out at night if I'm in dress. I don't usually wear dress things in the day unless it's a wedding or a funeral or something like that. So they didn't get noticed, but I really like them. And I got them they're brand new. I got them on Facebook Marketplace. They came with some really cool dust cover bags, and I really liked that. But they were only like $120 or something when I got them. I know they're probably more than that. But that is a actual J. Crew boot. It's not a collaboration. It's their boot, and it's made in El Salvador, the Kenton Pacer. The second boot we have, for me, is a dress boot. I know these aren't dress boots for some of you guys, but there's an interesting story behind this. This is called the Sutro footwear from San Francisco, California. I think they are made somewhere south of the border. Made in Mexico. So probably in León, Guanajuato. Okay, look at that cap toe. You see some of those cap toes have the fold over there. It's not a stitch seam. They stitch it down in here because I put my hand inside there and I can feel that it goes about an inch below that seam and then folds back. So I don't think it's a true cap toe all the way. Okay, these Sutro boots, look at that right there. These Sutro boots are every one of them is named after a street in San Francisco. This is the Alder. They also have the Alder 2. This is the Alder in Honey. Okay, and it is a boot. It's over $200. I think when this was one of my first, when I first started getting into boots besides work boots. This is one of the first ones I bought, and it was like $150. I was on the fence. I didn't know where and I went back and got it. They don't have stores, but I think they sell them in other stores. They might have a store in San Francisco. I think they did, but I think it's shuttered now. The business has sold to a different company. As far as I know, the website's there. They're still making boots, but they went up like everything did after COVID. I think they're like $239 or something like that. It's a soft leather. It's a supple leather. There's no break-in. It's got a lot of really cool details. Sutro boots. Okay, if you haven't seen them, kind of a dressy boot. And Sutro was a German-Jewish immigrant in the 1800s. It came to the United States. He was born in 1830, and he ended up in San Francisco, and then he went to Virginia City, Nevada, where the Comstock silver lode was. A lot of the silver was huge strike. If you're in California, Nevada, Arizona, somewhere on the west coast here, Virginia City it's like a little cowboy town. They still have a lot of the old buildings. There's small little slot machine casinos there. You can do a little bit of gambling there. There's, I think, a couple of hotel, motel type places there, but there's a lot of history, a lot of stuff that you can learn there. So what Sutro did, he was educated as an engineer. And a lot of those mines there in the Comstock lode in Virginia City were filling up with water. So what he did was created a tunnel system that They could get the water out, pump the water out, drain the water out. And so he became the king of the silver barons in Virginia City, Nevada in the late 1800s. And he came back to San Francisco, and he built on the cliffs of the western shore of San Francisco. He built something called the Cliff House, which had some curiosities like some P.T. Barnum stuff in it, I think. It was like a beautiful gingerbread Victorian castle, like kind of like Coronado down in San Diego. And he had the Cliff House, and then down below it on the cliffs, you could still go down there. I think it's a state park, but you could still walk down. They had something called the Sutro baths, and it was filled up with ocean water. They could accommodate 10,000 people down there at the Sutro baths swimming. If you go up the Cliff House on the northwestern cliffs of San Francisco, you could see the old footings and foundations and shapes of the baths down there. There's like a big cave or tunnel or something you could walk through. A lot of people go down there, kind of hang around and hike around down there. And that he was also the mayor of San Francisco for a couple of years. And that's what I have. He was a millionaire from San Francisco, Sutro. These boots are named after his legacy. They are a cool boot to have. Sutro Shoe Company. Next we got something. I think this is my only pair of Wolverines. I've had another pair of 1,000 Mile boots. These are 1,000 Mile. Worn them once with a leather sole. I'm not a leather sole guy. I know a lot of you dress boot guys are. I am not. But I fell in love with these. Also got them on Facebook Marketplace. And I like the leather. I read somewhere it was olive tanned by Horween leather. I am not sure about that. See, it says 1,000 Mile right there. Wolverine started in 1883. The first 1,000 Mile boot was put out in 1914. And I like these. I'm going to keep them. They're my only pair of Wolverines. And this is John's, the Carpenter of Happiness's 1,000 Mile Wolverine boot. So next, last but definitely not least, I just got these earlier in the week. I think I got them, I don't know where I got them. I got them on eBay or something. And they were very inexpensive. This is the second pair I've got like this. I got another pair, wasn't in quite as good a shape as this. Herman Survivor boot. Okay? And I'm going to tell you some history behind that. Had another pair like these. Just as soon as I fixed it up and started posting pictures, guys are really into this boot. I don't know, guys have had them before. A couple guys wanted to buy them from me, and I just sold them to one of the guys because he was like, oh, I had a pair, and I got rid of them, and I really regret it. One of the guys in my group or one of the other boot groups. And so I sold it to him for just about what I had into it. But I found this other pair, Vibram lug sole, Herman Survivors. See the other, they come with this little label on them. Okay. And look at this. This is really interesting. I mean, the tongue is stitched all the way up. So these are like sealed for snow. They're kind of insulated. I don't know if you can see in there. There's different leather, but they're insulated right around the collar, and the leather is kind of doubled and insulated. If you want to see how they looked in the beginning before I started restoring them, that's in my group Red Wing and Other Boots for Work and Fashion on Facebook. Herman Boots. Herman Boots started in 1879 in Massachusetts. They made boots for both world wars. Okay, I think they shuttered their factory in Massachusetts in the 80s. And somewhere in the 90s or the 2000s, Walmart bought the name, and now they make them overseas, and they sell, not that they're made overseas, but the boots that they're having made now, they're still called the Herman Survivor at Walmart, but they're just really cheap boots. And so the boots they made before, I have another pair of Herman boots. You're going to see them in the work. They're steel toe loggers. Beautiful boots. I posted a picture of them in social media the other day on my Instagram or Facebook. You'll see those. But a lot of the guys really like the older Herman. I think they were associated with a brand called Santa Rosa. I'm not sure. Because I think Herman bought Santa Rosa, and they're called Herman Santa Rosa for a while. But these are one of the older 1970s Herman Survivor boot. And as my hobby, of course, you know I love boots. fix these up. And that is what I got for you today as far as boots. And so I also wanted to talk to you about addiction. I am a excessive compulsive type guy. Go figure. If you haven't noticed, addiction's a crazy thing, man. I did just about everything you could smoke and drink, and yeah, I never stuck needles in my arms or anything like that. I know if you're doing heroin, or someone you know is doing heroin, very few people get out of that. I did not go to rehab. To quit drinking was my worst problem. And what I did was I prayed. And I know many of you aren't Christian, but prayer still works. And what prayer does is, prayer is not, we pray for people, we pray to God for help, or to our higher power. Who prayer really changes is us. And it's the prayer who can kind of receive some message, either from their higher power, from their own consciousness, from the collective consciousness, and it kind of mellows us out, gets us where we need to be to deal with our problems. And so a guy, it's like this. A guy told me, he was an electrician. His name was Dave. He was from Brooklyn, New York. Great guy. Haven't seen him, I don't know, 30 or more years. But I'm in a Bible study with him at this place I used to work, and it was a top secret Air Force base. I was actually an electrician there, but they needed carpentry work, so I worked there. But we had a small Bible study, and he was a great guy, and I was trying to quit drinking, and he told me, actually, no, I was trying to quit smoking at the time, and drinking was my worst problem, but smoking was the hardest thing to quit. And when I talk about addiction, I'm definitely talking about nicotine. And I had tried to quit, go 2 or 3 weeks, man, I'm just about to kill somebody. And he told me, John, quit talking about it and just start praying about it. And so what I did was I prayed to God, and I said, God, I know my family, my kids don't like me smoking. Lord, I go outside, I smoke a cigarette, I wash my hands, I brush my teeth, I come back in, they still smell it on me, and it bugs the children. And I said, I don't really find a place in the Bible or anywhere where smoking in and of itself is a sinful, terrible thing. It doesn't cause me to act different like drugs or alcohol do. You do act different because you got to have cigarettes and you got to go outside and smoke all the time. But I said, you know what? I don't have a huge problem with it, but other people do. And Lord, if you want me to quit, I guess that's okay with me. And it was a really half-hearted prayer. But what I did was I took the pressure off myself, because every time I had tried to quit drinking or smoking or marijuana or these other things, I tell my mom and my dad, I quit. You tell all these people at work, I quit. It just causes your brain to keep going back to it when you keep saying that. And so when I took the pressure off myself and I put it on my higher power, just like the AA, put it on my higher power, just if you want to take it from me, God, take it from me, the pressure was off. I don't really remember quitting smoking cigarettes. All of a sudden people are telling me, you don't smoke anymore? Or asking me. And I don't remember what happened to the last pack of Marlboro Reds, but it just went away. But I have been sober from alcohol for over 28 years now. I'm almost a couple months, I'll be in my 29th year of sobriety. And yeah, oral fixation, having to smoke, drink. I wasn't a big pill popper, but if you could snort it, smoke it, ingest it, I did it. And so, I didn't like who I was. And when I quit, I really had to do a lot of meditation and prayer and discover why I was doing these things. And I realized that I really didn't love myself the way that I needed to. I was definitely selfish, if you call that love, but I really didn't respect and love myself. I realized that I was performing for everybody. You know me, I'm very outwards. I love saying I love you. I love getting that love back. I love getting compliments. But, at that time, I didn't want to be alone. Every time I got off work, I'd go home, call someone to come party with me at my apartment all night long, every night, every work night, every weekend. And I just discovered that I needed to like who I was. And when I took an inventory of myself and realized that, hey, I'm a great guy. I'm intelligent. I'm skilled. I'm outgoing, and people really like me. And I discovered that I like me. I like me and I don't need anyone to like me. I am comfortable in my own skin, and that was a process. And it took me several months to get through that and to meditate and pray and to figure out that I'm performing for everybody. I'm doing good things to make people love me. Just like this video. I could be doing this just so that you love me. You know what? I'm not doing this for me. It feels really good. It really does. And it's fun. Just like Tex said, it is a fun thing to do. But I'm doing this for you. I'm doing this because guys asked to see my boot collection. And then I'm giving these messages of hope and love so that I can help reach out and help others with the things that I've learned. So the more I am not doing things to get back and to receive warm feelings from other people, I am being the person that I like. I'm being the person that I love. And then that's naturally. I'm still getting a lot of the same responses. I'm still getting love and affection and respect from other people. But it's not because I'm trying to get it out of them. I'm trying to perform for them and make them love me. You don't love me? That's okay. Go to a different channel. But if you do love me and if you do like me, hey, I'm open to that. And I love you too. And I like you too. And so I hope these messages are helping you. I pray that if you are in addiction of drugs or alcohol or cigarettes or sex or any of these things, even a food addiction, boy, that's a hard one, because you got to eat. But, I would recommend first just praying and meditating about that and take an inventory and discover who you want to be. And then try and, when you do that inventory, discover the things about you that you like and just get rid of the rest. There's things from our parents, things that we inherit that we like and things that we don't like. And we just choose some things. We become like some things. If you had an addictive parent, find the things that you like about you, let the rest go, and develop those things. And get a healthy addiction. Something that, this may be a monetary thing for me. I buy and sell all the time. But I only buy things that I know have a resale. But it is something that doesn't affect me, doesn't incapacitate my brain or doesn't debilitate my body or keep me from getting up in the morning from going to work. And so if you can find a more healthy addiction, a hobby, an activity, diet and exercise, man. Diet and exercise is the absolute best thing for your brain. So I pray that you can get out of your addictions and that you can love yourself like I love you. I love the good in you. I don't like the bad in you. I don't like the sinful in you. I love the good in you. I love the good things about you. So you look at yourself and find those good things and start loving yourself and try and claw your way out of that addiction. Just do what you got to do. If you need help, if you need rehab, if you need psychology, if you need some kind of professional, do it. Do it. Do everything that you can, because there's people that love you. Maybe you got no one, and so you're thinking it doesn't really matter. You know what? There is something for you in this life. There is no trash on this earth. There's one human family. Somebody needs you, and it may be in your future. So pull your head out of your you-know-where. Quit doing that stuff to yourself, because you are vital and important on this earth. I love you today. Happiness and joy.